And welcome back to Fantabulous, where we draw handbags and do product development sketches for accessories. Today we're going to do something, like I said last week, a little bit simpler. Another gimme cosmetics bag. This one is flat. It has no guts. It's pretty much two-dimensional. It has this fun little box pleat detail with this kind of Lurexy ribbon on the side and a nylon zipper with a zipper stopper and self material, and a PVC, well, the whole thing is smooth grain PVC, and as you can see, it is from Lord & Taylor of blessed memory. Okay, so let's start by doing what we usually do, is we measure. We're not using logos as usual. So we got here is, let's see, 8 by, not including the ribbon, 8 by 5. Okay, so let's go for it. Okay, the first thing I want to do before I even start the sketch is to show you how to do a box pleat. Sketch it, that is. You can see how it is. You can see the structure of how it's actually done. And what I'm going to do is first I'm going to take a piece of paper and show you. All right, let's give ourselves some. Here. Let's say this is our seam. That's where the box pleat is coming out of. And let's see, do a little bit of corner here and there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually make the center part here. See how that works. Okay, so I'm going to do this, and we're going to give ourselves a measurement. I'm just going to eyeball it right now. You can go use a ruler. You don't have to, but you could, being that I'm just showing you the first time. So, all right, looks like my pencil is dying, so I'm just going to grab another one. Goodbye. All right, here we go. Let's see how this one's doing. Okay, this one looks better. Okay, so just making a line here. Now you could give yourself a line so that you know where you can stop for the end of the ribbon. Okay, so there. So I'm just making the inside view of the pleat where it folds in. And there you go. So that's giving us an idea. Now the next thing, okay, we're going to go around the corner, and we're going to do that just to show you how it does. This one's going to open a little more because it's actually, the tension on the seam is going to make it open. So we have more or less an idea of what our box pleat is. Now, here is where we go ahead and we make it look a little rounder and a little more three-dimensional. So the box pleat, part of the box pleat that is towards us is going to curve out. So we're doing a little curve there, and it makes it look more three-dimensional. And then the box pleat that is in back, that's recessed, it's behind, is going to curve the other way. It's going to curve inward. So you can see we have an idea of volume. So let's go ahead and grab our brush marker. Yay! Okay, so let's go ahead and do. What we're going to do here is we're going to go over the exteriors. Anything that stands away from the bag that's not really a seam and that's going to have shadows, we're going to go ahead and work on it with our heavier marker, like that. I'm just going to do a few because I want to get to the bag, but here. All right. All right, that should give us an idea. Now we're going to close that with the back side, okay, of the box pleat. Okay, next I'm going to grab our fine line, and we're going to make our seam. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to carry out the end of the pleat, which should be a little bit narrower because it's going to go into the seam. It becomes narrower. Oop. I think I'm going to need a new pen soon. All right, that's fine. No biggie. Go to Staples and get some. All right. As you know, I'm not into fancy markers, so I can just go to any Staples and get what I need. Okay, so now you can see what we have is a box pleat. It looks somewhat like this, and it was done pretty quickly. Okay, so let's go ahead, and we're going to start our our little bag here. What was it that I said? I said 8 by 5, was it? Yes, 8 by 5. So we're going to grab our ruler here. And we're going to try to get it. I'm going to go down to 1.5 centimeters so that we can get an idea of the proper proportion. When you're doing a flat, you know, kind of an idea of a bag, like a two-dimensional bag, it's not really two-dimensional, but for all intents and purposes, it has no gusset. So it's kind of two-dimensional. You're going to go ahead and, there, going to go ahead, and you don't have to even make it so 3/4 view because you're not showing a gusset. There is none. So we're just going to go like this, and we're going to give ourselves a boxy kind of a look. Okay, see, I got a little bit crooked there, so I'm going to fix it. Now, because we're going to do it a little bit foreshortened, I'm going to like cheat over there. Cheat off a little bit of the width that's supposedly farther from us, even though it's not a 3/4 view. It kind of gives that impression. This, I see I did not do it at a good 45-degree angle, so I'm going to correct that. Okay. Just correct as you go along in the pencil sketch. Anything you want to correct on the pencil sketch, the pencil sketching portion of your work is perfectly fine. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is, look here, the zipper kind of stands up a little bit, so we want to do that. Give ourselves a little bit of a idea of the zipper. It's a very thin, cheap nylon. Did I say cheap? I meant inexpensive nylon zipper. We're going to do this. This is an important detail. It's the zipper stop, which is made in self. So we put that in there because that's something a sample hand needs to know. And it's just a plain, very, very cheap zipper pull. So let's go ahead and do that right there. So it's like that. Okay, put our ring in there. And we're going to do our zipper pull, which is self. It has a teeny bit of edge paints matching, and that's it. Okay, now we're going to do what we just practiced and we just showed you. We're going to do our box pleat. Now, because I have a nice little ruler, I'm just going to measure them out, make it look even. You could do it by eye also if you're good at it, but to me, if you have a ruler, you might as well use the ruler. Pardon my allergies. Okay. And it's just kind of that time of year in New York where the weather is lousy and so are the allergies. Well, actually, the weather's almost always lousy in New York, but let's not be too critical. Okay, so let's go ahead. So I'm making myself a bunch of little dots, and this is where we're going to do our box pleat. So once we do that, okay, good. So now we have our idea of our box pleat. And let's see, I think it's about like that much. Let's not get too crazy. I'm gonna give myself a little guideline very lightly in the pencil. No need to make it too dark. Go ahead and give myself a little guideline of where that ribbon goes out till, so I can draw it in. All right, so great. Fantabulous. Like everything on this show is fantabulous. Okay, so let's start first. So now I'm drawing the opening of the pleat. And we just clip along there. And just remember, try to be even. That's the most important thing. Around the corner, the pleat's going to open more because of the tension of turning the ribbon around the corner. So we want to get that in there. Okay, so now the same thing I just did a little bit ago. Okay, I'm going to do that curved out look where the ribbon comes out towards you. So it's going to like a little curve out. Give the illusion of volume because you are actually working on a two-dimensional thing. Also, probably for this ribbon, I'm probably going to try to make my swatch actually using the a photograph. Now, I don't like what I did, so I'm going to correct it. I'm going to do that like that because the pleat I don't think was going to fall correctly in that way. That's better. Okay, so now do our curved out. And now we're going to do our curve in where the ribbon goes to the back, like we saw it initially. Okay, so now we're almost there. Now we're going to grab our thicker marker to do the outer edge. What I use the brush marker for is to add volume. Some people feel it's kind of cartoony, but if you use a brush marker like this, or even thicker, there, I'm not sure. You know what, let's use a very, very schmancy one. We're going to use our fat brush marker, and we're just going to go around the outer edge of the outline. And what that does is it gives you kind of a more pictorial, kind of artistic look, which is nice. And it also adds a certain amount of three-dimensionality to your sketch. If you don't use it, you can still get a similar effect, not with a brush marker, but even like a Sharpie. It just looks a little choppier, but some people actually like that look. So here I'm just going around the ribbon contour and the perimeter of the bag, which obviously is three-dimensional, even though it's a two-dimensional sketch. Now, when you do this, just try not to go over the pencil too much because it smudges. The important thing is just to try to be neat, but if you're using a mechanical pencil, they'll tend to smudge a lot less. I advise on it. I don't like, ever since I discovered mechanical pencils, I really don't use regular pencils anymore. All right, here we go. You just have to buy a lot of them. Okay, so now we have our edge. And it's starting to look a little more three-dimensional, which is what we want. And I'm going to do our zipper pull. There we go. Okay, now our nylon zip. All right. There. Here we're going to give a little bump for the appearance of our self-material zipper stop. Okay, so now working with our fine line pen, like I said, I use a cheap one. You can use fancy, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm going to start on our zipper pull, which has an edge paint. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a line there. So when I do put this into the computer and scan it in, I'll have where to put my edge paint detail. There, as you can see, the edge paint right there. Okay. So let's see, go around here, go around there, there. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas or oil or whatever is cheaper these days. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing here. Did it have this? Actually, no, this has a turned in edge, so forget that. Not going to do it. I don't have to. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to put in our zipper teeth. There we go. And you can add a few bumps and things there so that people know it's zipper teeth. You can give an idea of what it is in the sketch, but when you're doing a spec, you're actually going to write it someplace. They're going to ask you zipper material or zipper. There's going to be a spot there, and the first thing you're going to write is dyed to match nylon for this particular item. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm going to do the seam where the pleat, box pleat comes in. And here, oh, there we go. Seaming away. All right, here we go. There we are. Now, has a little curved edge there. Use your rulers, use whatever you need to use, and make the sketch look somewhat attractive. If you want, you can add, like, because it's kind of a soft kind of a PVC, you can add like a fold line there, or you can even take it out later. But anyway, here we go. So now I'm going to put in our edges here of our box pleat. Now when we actually put this into the computer, these pleats will get shaded The under part of the pleat, that is. All right, so we're working on it. We're getting there, yay. So you make sure you close all of your pleats till the body, because if you don't, your computer, when they scan, will leave a hole, and then when you're trying to color it in after you've digitized the picture and gotten it to do an auto trace, is that it's going to color all the same color because there's no division. And that's a pain in the neck. So here we go. Let's see. We're getting there. We are almost ready. I think what we need is just the seam, the stitching on the seam at the top for the zipper. Ta-da! All right, so what are we missing? Stitching right there. Okay, let's put the stitching in. Just think of yourself as a sewing machine when you do this. This, of course, you could also add when you're doing it on Adobe Illustrator. It's easy. You just use a line with a dash and you're done. But I personally like to just do it by hand because I started by hand. I might as well finish it by hand. Okay, so voila. There we have our little sketch. And let's erase. Let's erase all our pencil marks. Make sure that your ink is dry, because you don't want it to be a mess. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right. Did I miss a spot? Yes, I did. Okay, no matter. Get rid of it. So, ta-da, ta-da. Yeah. Okay, so now we know how to do a box pleat. We know how to do a flat cosmetic bag, and I'll see you guys next week. I hope you enjoyed it, and hope you subscribe, and have a fantabulous day. Bye.